team has 20 minutes to present its case to the judges. I will hold up a sign for the last 10, 5, and 2 minutes, as well as for the last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds, I will indicate with my fingers the number of seconds remaining. If you have not finished your presentation after 20 minutes, you will be stopped in order to proceed with the Q&A period. The Q&A period of a maximum of 5 minutes is allocated to the judges at the end of your presentation. Please note that at any time you cannot say or reference the name or the location of your university.
Congratulations, UAM. You have produced exceptional leaders, not only on a business level, a commercial level, but also on a community level. These are leaders that care, that want to give back. And for alumni members such as Michael and Sophie, they're looking back to give back to the university and to give back to that moment that really created the foundation for their future. So what we need to do today is to leverage these individuals and to create funds that support the students that go into the real world. Hi, my name is Nancy, and to my left I have my teammates Rose and Xavier, and together we are Peak Consulting. So let's begin with our mandate and why we are here today. Well, we are here today because we want to review UAM's current philanthropic marketing approach and use it to optimize and create real relationships with target groups. But in light of this mandate, we have to address 3 issues. These issues involve misunderstanding of the allocation of donations. We are all human beings. We want to know where our money is going. So if we give, we want to know where it goes to. Secondly, there is a less of attachment to philanthropy in Quebec. Unfortunately, this is a reality. It doesn't mean we can't change it. It just means we have to recognize it and do something. And thirdly, there is a decline in donations. This is something, again, that is a trend, but in the future, this is what UAM is here to do, and this is what UAM is here to do for their school as well. So let's take a look at what our objectives are really today in light of all these issues. So the first objective is to really increase your donations by $450,000. But every time you have an objective, you have to have measurements in place to satisfy those objectives. So our KPI is the number of donations achieved. Secondly, our objective is to retain and increase loyal donors. These are the donors we want to focus on. And to do so, we have to measure it by the return of previous donors that come back to us. And thirdly, we want to implement a sustainable idea. Any idea is good, may have a wow factor, but if it's not focused on long term, it's not going to work. So the KPI for that is the results as this being a traditional event that comes back throughout the years. Now, let's take a step back and look at your company and the focal point of what is actually happening with UAM.
Perfect. So the first thing that really crossed our attention when we started looking at the foundation situation was that there was a clear disconnect in the message that was sent to the public. So first of all, when we think of charities or even into philanthropy in general, there is a clear conflicting message. So first of all, what people might say at the beginning is, we're skeptical. We don't know where our money's going. We don't trust that this money that's given will actually achieve its proper goal. What charities say, on the other hand, is that no, we are trustworthy, and that this whole issue is just coming from the fact that there is a misunderstanding on the allocation of money. The reality, however, if we take a closer look at it, is that the values and the culture of giving back has not been transmitted as effectively as we were hoping from, for example, the baby boomers, to their children. So at the end of the day, what we really take away from this is that donations are something that's really chauvinistic. So people are going to want to donate to people that they can relate to, and really it has to be triggered by a sense of belonging. So let's take a look at the foundation overview. First of all, congratulations. You have achieved tremendous activities. So really it is the backbone of the founding of a lot of the university activities, and it is really the link between the current student, the alumni, and the faculty members as a whole. And for that reason, because everything has been going so smoothly on that hand, we recommend that you do not change anything as far as the foundation mission or activities is concerned. Now, taking a look at the locations, you are located first of all in Montreal, but you've also recognized the fact that a lot of the students come from abroad, and this is why you have a Paris location, which is great. And on the other hand, you're also very present online, so through website and through Facebook. So for that matter, everything's going well on that end. We recommend that you keep that platform as well. as far as the promotion is concerned, we have recognized that you have several tactics. So first of all, you do partner with some businesses in your area, with a lot of them probably alumni members. There's a lot of online and telephone campaigns. And recently, one of the tactics that have been really helping the foundation is the event. So for example, a golf tournament, who was really the greatest opportunity to recognize the efforts and donations made, and the planned donations, which really can be tailored to someone's budget. However, what we did recognize is that there is an opportunity to combine the most profitable tactics together. So for that reason, we recognize that if anything needs to be reviewed, it should be the promotional tactics. So who can be our donors? Nancy mentioned earlier Michael and Nancy. Now let's take a closer look at who they actually are. Michael is 46. He graduated years ago from the university, and he is now a very successful financial advisor. Whenever his colleagues or his superiors compliment his work ethics and the way he's so strong and knowledgeable about what he does, he thinks back of his university years, and he thinks back of everything he's learned and how grateful he is for his education. Now, because he's so successful at what he does, obviously he works long hours. He has a really hectic lifestyle, and he can barely make time, for example, to spend time with his friends or even sometimes his family. Now, Sophie, on the other hand, is a bit younger. She's 32, but she's also a graduate. She works at one of the most popular marketing firms in the area. And back in her day, she was a student leader. She was one of the president of the student associations, and everything that she gained from those years really reflect in her work on a daily basis. So ultimately, what Michael and Sophie have in common, even though they are a few years apart, is that yes, they are UAM alumni, but they have a really strong sense of belonging, and they are concerned about giving back to their community, and they do recognize that everything that a university and their education has brought and the impact that it have on its success. So now that this has been, now that everything has been mentioned, we recognize that we could have different choices in terms of promotion. So the two things that we really stopped on would be either to have themed nights or to have bidding nights. So to summarize this, we mentioned earlier that we wanted to combine maybe the most successful tactics. Well, a themed night would be, we recognize that casino nights, for example, are very popular among business executives. So we could have a casino night in the university, tickets could be charged, and that would be the money that would be going towards, as donations. Second of all, it could be bidding nights. So for example, for student projects. Now this could be an opportunity to encourage student initiatives and also increase awareness about the foundation itself. So now, how do we make a decision? First of all, we did recognize that there are 4 important decision criteria. The first one would be the donor education. Earlier on, it has been mentioned that people are very reluctant to donate because they're not sure of how well the money is spent and how it is allocated. So we want to educate the donors on where their money is going. Second of all, we also wanted to give freedom to the donors. We wanted them to be able to somehow choose where the money will be going and how they want to allocate it precisely. Third of all, we wanted something sustainable, so a trend or a tactic that could be carried on throughout the years. And fourth of all, we wanted to look at obviously the cost. Now in this case, obviously our deal breakers, as we have highlighted, are the donors' education and freedom of donation. In order to make it easier to follow throughout the alternative section, we have come up with a coloring rating scale. So the first night, the casino night. As far as the education is concerned, we recognize that it might not be the best alternative to go with because people will be busy playing, they might be distracted, so it's not the best way necessarily to educate them on what they could do. And also, we recognize that it did not allow them to actually choose which activity of the foundation they wanted to encourage. As far as sustainability and cost is concerned, well, these criteria were averagely satisfied. Now moving on to the second alternative, which would be a bidding pool type of night. Well, just by taking a quick look at it, it's obviously the most profitable option to go with because throughout the night, obviously, activities and projects will be promoted. Our donors will have the opportunity to choose who they want to go with, which activity they want to encourage, and it could easily be a trend that could be carried on throughout the years. Now that this has been taken into account, we clearly recommend that you go with a bidding pool type of night so that Michael and both Sophie could attend ultimately. Now that we have finally come to this conclusion, how are we going to communicate this to Michael and Sophie? How are we going to find out about it, and how can they actually help their university and the foundation prosper throughout the years? In order to answer that question, let's take a look at our marketing objectives.
Perfect. So our communication objective for target markets such as Michael and Sophie are that we want these alumni members to donate, to give back due to their contribution and due to their school and due to their current careers. They wouldn't be here if it weren't for UAN and foundations such as yours. Now, unfortunately, we have to have a message that really appeals to them and gets their attention, right? So our message being separated into three important and integral parts. Firstly, appeal. We have to have that sense of belonging. We want them to belong and we want them to give back. And cognitively, we want to educate them about where their allocation is being directed, which projects, and that they have this transparency between their money and the end result. And lastly, behaviorally, this will gain their buy-in. We will gain their funding and we'll gain the finances that we need in order to have our projects realized. So how are we going to do this? Yes, we mentioned a bidding night, but how is this bidding night going to work? Well, what we're going to call it is mise au ancien. Sorry, my French, it's my second language. Let's start with the first step. Now, the first step is, obviously, any kind of night, you need invitations. These invitations are going to be sent out based on the year of graduation. So we're going to separate them into different age groups so that people who come to these nights actually see their classmates. They see the people they competed on in sports and they go, oh, this is so cool. And that's going to optimize their funding allocations as well. Secondly, this is a visual of the night. So for the night, the actual location is going to be at the L'Oréal location at your school. And first, we're going to have a stage set up. This is where all the bidding is going to actually happen. All of the presentations are going to happen, right? So this is where people and students and different groups come up and they present their philanthropic ideas and the projects they want these business professionals to help them realize. And also, throughout the entire room, you're going to have these student associations on the right side, the alumni associations on the right side, as well as general donations, which represent a huge number of the donations and the funding that you need. And also, in addition to that, is the scholarships and the research and knowledge funds. So this is where all the projects will be presented, and this is where the bidding will happen. So this is really what's going to excite, attract, and engage with your alumni. And thirdly, we want this to be sustainable. So let's take a look at how we're going to implement this. In the first year, in year one, we're going to focus on trial and awareness. This is crucial because if they're not aware, they're not going to give money. Secondly, we're going to focus on loyalty for the medium term, and long term, again, sustainability for that kind of belonging sense. Let's start with the short term.
All right, so the short term in year one would be separated in 4 phases. The first phase will be the 3 first months, and it's the preparation. That's where really we want to select a project manager, a project leader within your foundation that would take care of the mise aux enchères. After that, we want to find a place where to hold the mise aux enchères. A perfect place at current location at HEC Montréal currently would be Le Salon L'Oréal, where all sorts of events are taking place and where you can have access to the outside yard during the summer. After that, we want to find partners for the wine and cheese, because throughout this bidding night, we want to have a little wine and cheese, really to have all the people coming, the alumni, to really discuss with their peers, as well as to learn about the bidding opportunities. And for that wine and cheese, we would like to find partners within our alumni network. So if we could have some wine and cheese for free, that would be perfect. After that, in phase 2, that's all the phases are separated is really by promotion. So for the phase 2, we want to go with the promotion 2001 to 2010, basically people from 25 to 34 years old. With that, we want to have promotion through the Young Alumni Network page that you have on your website. That's really where all the people, the alumni under 35 can discuss and talk together. And also, since the people from 25 to 34 are really savvy on the technologies, we want to have a Facebook event. Going forward, for the promotion 91 to 2000, that would be a second bidding night. So we have a different bidding night for 3 different promotions. For promotion from 91 to 2000, we want to have a promotion through the Club UAM, which is something you already have on your website, and which 70,000 alumni are connected. We also want to send email invitations, as well as LinkedIn message and personal calls to the person that didn't answer emails or LinkedIn message. So really, as you see, after that, yeah. So in the long term, so year 3, well, actually, there are 2 other phases in the short term that don't appear, but we'll still go on. It's really interesting. So basically, for the last phases, it's people from 81 to 90. So basically, people that are from 45 to 54 years old. How we want to really try to connect to them is via email and phone, because they're older, they're not that present online. So we want to use email and phone as the main way to connect to them. After that, the medium term, basically year 2, before the long term. Year 2, what we really want to do is to create loyalty. We want the people that came to the first bidding nights to come back year after year, because it's a great way to first meet with the peers that they haven't seen in a while, and also to help in a direct way student association, as well as student projects and infrastructure. Just to give you a quick example, in this building here, all the classes have a name of a city in Quebec. Percé, Chibougamau are examples. What we would like to do, you could bid and have a plate with your name instead of being a city. So it would be, for example, for Michael, it could be Michael Robertson, so he could have his name on a classroom. So that's really rewarding, and that's a nice way to have to leave your mark at your school. So in the medium term, really, we want to have loyalty. We want also to add a fortnight, if everything went well, where we would have the older section of baby boomers, so people from 55 to 64 years old. Now, taking a look at the long term, so year 3 and after that. What we want to do really is we want that to become a tradition. We want people that are going to graduate to attend this as an activity to see their peers, and also to give back to the school where they went first. And how we're going to do so to make that really something that is part of the HSA. The HSA history, what we want to do is really to have some kind of competition between the promotions, so the different age scales. How we're going to do so is basically for every night we're going to give in the alumni newspaper, as well as on the website. We're going to publish the 3 people that gave the most money. So that's a really nice way to advertise our event, and both to recognize the people who donated, and also we want to have the promotion that gave the most to have an ad on the website. And after that, we want basically it would be a really good idea to add the same concept to maybe Université de Montréal Law School or the Med School. So that's the medium term and short term that we went over. Now taking a look at our budget. For the first year, the budget is $150,000. The greatest amount is going to the mise aux enchères nights, so basically for all the logistic, and also all the tables and the stage and the sound system and everything. After that, the project manager and $50,000, and the promotion team $25,000. Promotion team would be basically students who would make the phone calls, as well as the invitations on Facebook and emails. They could be freelancers, so they wouldn't work on a yearly contract, but on a shorter contract. And finally, we want to have promo gift given during those nights. So taking a look now at the financials, if we take the more moderate point of view, we would have $150,000 at every night. So that's with having 250 people attending, which is only 2.5% of the total alumni per promotion. And that total revenue times 3, so for 3 events, would give us $450,000 in revenues.
So as you can see, our strategy really works because it does cover the objective of the donations for $450,000. It also does cover the objective of retent an increase in loyalty within our donors. And lastly, it is a sustainable project that will happen on not only a yearly basis, but in the long term. So for alumni such as Michael and Sophie, they can now give back and know that they've made an impact on the scholarships or the infrastructure of UAM due to their funds and donations. Thank you, and remain on the floor for any further questions.
Before we get to your plan, I just wanted to know, 22% of our current revenues come from business donations. And I was just curious as to why not target them as part of your plan?
All right, that is part of our long-term plan. Basically, in the long term, we would like to have a bidding night only for corporations. So basically, we could have tables for every corporation, and it would be some kind of competition between, for example, we could have Scotiabank and PricewaterhouseCoopers, and they could compete to have their name on a special project or on a special building. So that would be something we could look in the long term.
You highlighted the importance of your international group of students, and these seem to be more locally based events. So how are you going to target that huge percentage of students who are not in the Montreal area?
All right, so for our international group, because we also have an alumni location in Paris, what we want to do is we want to leverage the online, and also we want to transfer this knowledge and make this mise en scene in the long term in Paris as well and in other locations as well. So the online will attract those funds and will allow the international to know and be aware of this whole foundation and bidding process that's actually going on.
I'm just looking quickly at the amount of donations you expect are 125,000, ticket revenue 25,000, so we're at 150 grand to 250 people, and then that 3 times. So that's essentially 750 people who are going to give us $6,000 each per year. If that's essentially what it adds up to. Do you think that this is maybe a little bit aggressive in terms of how much you can actually generate from us?
So if we take a look at the financials, basically in the more moderate point of view, we had 250 attendees,
Right.
and those attendees for the ticket revenue, basically it's $100 that we will sell the ticket. So that's a fixed amount of money we would have. And for the overall donation, it's 125. So if we divide 125, it's around it's actually around $6,000. We think it's feasible. It's actually around $600 per person if we divide, because it's so $600 is not that much if we take into account that people would give maybe $2,000, $5,000, so greater amounts, and other people would only pay for their ticket.
There's a lot of competition in philanthropy, especially in the Quebec market. So what's your differentiating factor to get people to give back to their university rather than cancer research, rather than the Santé type organization?
So we recognize that. We do recognize that we have a lot of competition, but just like in our analysis led us to understand, really people want to donate to whatever they can relate to, and they want to donate to something they believe in and where they can see where the money goes. So our alumni are the perfect network because they are the proof of what the school and the foundation has done for them, and this is how we can differentiate ourselves.
We currently have letters and phone calls that are going out to ask for donations. Now, will we be stopping that and using these mediums to invite them to this event instead?
No, definitely not. You guys are doing a great job, and we know you're doing a great job, but we want to make that and optimize that job. So this is an additional wow factor that's going to differentiate you from all the cancer research and all the other philanthropic activities that are going on. This is bringing people together to make actual stuff happen and bringing funds together as well.
With an average right now of $208 annual spending on philanthropic organizations, is your goal overall to really just increase the amount as like an average now of $600 ahead of how much people are giving? Are you looking at really increasing the number of donors or the frequency at which they donate during the year?
Okay, so basically it's a little bit of everything. So in the first step, it's a new way of giving money. You're giving money to a student association. Basically, if they want to go on a travel, basically, you're going to sponsor their travel. It's really a way when you donate money to see where your money is going and have feedback on how your money was used and everything. It's a different type of donation. It's more direct donation because you know exactly where your money is going. With that point of view, we think that the amount of money that would be donated would increase. And also, if you take a look, we only have 250 attendees per event, which is only 2.5% of the alumni within the 10 years promotion. So we're really hoping on high donations rather than a lot of people donating.
And with your online presence right now with social media, we only have 1,200 likes on Facebook. Do you have an objective or an estimation of what the potential traffic could be after all these initiatives for your social media?
Yeah, so basically a great objective would be to reach 2,000 likes on the Facebook page. And way we...
Questions.
Right, no, sorry.